All right, last one of the week.
1843, Paul Virzi. The guy
Kamar's buddy.
wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, what an honest fella, eh?
I like too that he seemed genuinely like happy and excited to be there. I like when someone's like, because a lot of people try
This
to.
was a huge deal for him.
No, I know, and I'm just saying, I like that a lot of people try to play it off too cool,
Well, it's especially a huge deal because Giannis has been on already.
And they're like good buddies.
Neighbors, and
Oh, we've been rubbing his nose in it. Yeah,
maybe not, but
for
he's
sure.
rubbing his own nose in just the pressure. But he's not that guy.
Dude,
Sorry.
Sorry, no, go
I
ahead.
said he'd be nothing but happy for Giannis, not jealous or like.
Classic moment from another podcast, but I just thought I would tell you because it was really funny. So backtrack when Giannis and what's his name broke up.
Chris Stefano.
And Chrissy D broke up. Chris was on Tiger Belly, and what's his name wore a shirt.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee wore a shirt that said Team
Giannis.
in this like certain font. He made it. So Chrissy D was just on the other day on Tiger Belly, and he wears his jacket the whole way through, and like 40 minutes into the podcast just takes it off, and he has a Team Kalila t-shirt. Dude, it was so fucking classic.
Did
Like,
Bobby like
hilarious.
cry
The
foul?
whole thing was hilarious, man. Great moment. Sorry.
Chris Stefano
Chrissy
and
D.
Paul Virzi are really good friends?
Are they? Yeah, okay.
same
Well,
too.
I didn't
So
know.
there's the tie-in.
I don't know what happened with
History hyenas.
well, I know what happened.
Paul
But I
Virzi
didn't
could
know
take-
if that like blew up their whole fucking friendship world, you know?
Well, like P says in this at one point,
You just call him P?
like he says.
No, I thought you said like
mispronounce it.
P said.
And he was sort of referring to Bobby Kelly, but comics should have like the mafia code.
Yeah, don't say shit.
Don't like you can talk shit amongst yourselves, but if everyone just, I think about it, it was analyze this. Never talk about family business in front of
I think you're okay to
normal people
talk
or
about it, but
whatever.
I think you toe the line.
just uber supportive of everyone within it. If you
Well, what
can
I'm
be.
just saying is like, let's say there's a controversy with a Chappelle joke, and you're a comedian, and someone comes to you and says, "What do you think about what Chappelle said?" I think your standard response should just be, "Was he trying to make people laugh?" Yes. Okay. Well, if it failed, that's life.
Well, then that goes back to celebrity pandering when you got big comics deciding what's the best thing for me to say, not the toe the line.
I'm just saying, most good comics don't say shit. Most good comics are just like, "Oh, he's having a bad." Like I go back to that Chappelle joke where he's talking about Kramer, and he says he's like, "I realized that night that I'm like 90% comedian and 10% black." He said, because at first I was like, "This motherfucker." And he said, but the comedian side of me was like, "He's having a bad set."
Relatable.
Yeah.
He came in loaded with he loves his dad, right?
Yeah, clearly.
Like it's almost embarrassing his dad love. I obviously, and he gave a shout out to stepfathers, don't have the same, but I do have the adoration and respect for my stepfather. I'll never miss it. My dad, I just never knew how to do that.
Oh, my stepdad came through big, and I treated him like shit for so long. They're about to have their 30th wedding anniversary, my mom and stepdad. So shout out to them. But yeah, we put him through fucking hell.
They're a special breed, stepdads.
You were bad to your stepdad?
Yeah, of course.
Why? You just...
You act out.
I'm not a good person. So why would
See,
I?
I was a great stepdad, like top notch.
You were a great stepdad. You could have been a horrible stepson.
What I'm saying is my stepdad was great. It was me that was the problem. Because again, I was just a young kid. Like, right? My parents got divorced when I was 6.
You
This
will
guy
never know what it's like to be a stepson.
Yeah.
Stepchild.
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter the gender.
Keep in mind too, there was a time when I was young where my mom was like, "Why don't you try calling him dad?" And that was probably a mistake.
That enraged you?
Well, yeah,
Because
it's
he's
like,
not my dad. I've been there.
well, that's it. He's not my dad. And like, still, I would even find
But
it
you're
weird.
being a prick as a kid. I remember.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I was being a prick. But even now, like, I would find it weird calling him dad.
I find it weird now calling him dad.
You know what? In all fairness, your stepdad was a hard ass.
Mine?
Yeah. with
Yeah, he
drugs
came
and
around.
shit,
Yeah, he really
so
came around in the last.
I could
like,
see why you would rebel.
keep in mind when he came into the family, he was like a pocket protector wearing engineer nerd. Like he had never done anything. You know what I mean? Like we had to really. I'm amazed he made it through our family. because we're a bunch of fucking wildcats.
It's for ease of telling the story. I go say my dad. I don't think I ever say my father, or I say my stepfather, but then it sounds clunky and just trying to tell a story. But it's always a thing that
You always say your stepdad.
I bet with strangers I don't. But it's like to say that, and then someone finds out it is your stepfather. Like, why do you lie, or do they care?
Why do you
I don't
lie?
think anybody's gonna think that.
Anyways, it's always a
Like,
thing.
look at this motherfucker. It wasn't even his dad playing it off as his dad.
Can I believe any story he's told me now?
I wonder if his mom's really his mom.
I wrestle
Does he have
with
them all?
it every time.
Every time you say it out loud?
Every time I have to reference my stepfather for a story or imparting information. Who are you with? I was with my stepfather. I was with my dad. Whatever.
My daughter never called me dad.
Still doesn't.
No, she would always say
First name.
Simon.
Yeah.
But her dad is still around, so it was weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want her to call me dad. It was odd. She had a dad.
Absolutely. I always
Kamar, have
called
you ever told your stepdad?
that I love him.
Or no, like thank you or anything
Oh,
like
yeah.
that? Okay, yeah. I think I've only told him once, super drunk.
I think it's more not less thanking but apologizing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
He
Love
comes out loaded with his dad's UFO story, but who knows? Because his dad seemed like
That was a great story.
a fancy guy.
That sounds like he got a really fucking good look at that UFO. Listen, if you're getting such a good look at the UFO, it's one thing to see something zipping around in the sky. But if your story is about it being like 40 feet away and seeing, you're either a fucking giant liar or you saw what you saw. You know what I mean? There's no mistaking that for something else.
the most New York response to it ever, though. Like, honey, get the gun. I'm going to shoot at this thing.
or get me a rock.
I also love, too, how his wife brought it up at the party.
Well, that's why they got divorced.
Fucking, oh, really?
No, I was just joking. She humiliated him as like your mother. I mean,
Did they get divorced?
yeah. Well,
Yeah, he
so
has a
we were talking
stepdad.
about stepfathers.
Oh, yeah, right.
He didn't lose contact with his dad, but could you imagine seeing your kid once a week for 12 hours?
I pretty much see my kid once a week for sure.
And he lives with them.
And he lives with me, yeah.
No, but you're only allowed.
No,
to.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine not being with my children.
And it breaks his heart. You
It
can tell.
seems insane to me.
My dad only got every second weekend.
That was like a rule.
Did he care?
Well, if he cared, he would have shown up to the custody hearing. That feels like a prerequisite to me. Kind of weird to
he
care.
made his bed.
Kind of weird to care after the fact.
Your dad was a busy guy, you know?
Yeah. My mom originally gave him Tuesdays, like Tuesday nights, we could go to a movie. And then eventually she was like, yeah, fuck this.
I think I'd be worse off if my dad was in the scene and I bounced back and forth.
Did you never met your father?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you don't even know if he
don't
was a
even
good
know.
guy or not.
He wasn't a good guy to my mom.
No.
Well,
But he
then
might
what's
have been the best dad ever. Who
What's the
knows?
line Virzi dropped? Be the best if you want to treat your kids well.
The best way to treat your sons is love their mother.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that
the one.
makes sense.
But he's such a sappy. It's so Paul. He's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
guy.
How well do you know him, Kamar?
I could message him and he'd message me back.
Right now, you could, like, if we had guests on the show, you could get Paul Virzi on as a guest.
I could ask him and he could say no.
How good a friend are you, Kamar? Could you get him on the show?
No, he just said he would ask and he
know,
would say no. We know the
I
answer.
went to a special. I went to the house he described. I sat there and drank scotch with him and smoked cigars. Like he is
Like if
You smoke
someone
sticks.
said,
Sticks, sorry.
if someone said, "Do you know Kamar Hargadon?" He would be like, "Oh, yeah, Kamar is a fucking great guy.
No,
I
he'd
have
say
his
Kamar
number
Babar.
right here on my phone."
I opened for him at Absolute. After the show, we went to the casino. He bought some sticks. He just talked about baseball. Like he's a really he is who he's this nice of a guy. It almost seems like he's naive. Like how can he be so nice? People are out
Bought
to
some
get you.
sticks. What slang is that?
I would not have
Cigars,
said.
he said it.
I would have still said cigars, but because you're correcting me.
I know you would have. I was being a dick. I'm sorry.
I have messaged him like
Congrats
nice
on the
special.
special.
He said thanks.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to get a lay of
He's
the
not
land.
my best friend.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm at the point where I call. There's like 6 people that I will refer to as friend. I have a ton of acquaintances. You're one of them.
That's rude. If he was coming to Ottawa, would he call you?
No.
I like your gauge of friendship. This is interesting. What level of
He
like?
was a great friend that didn't call him and came to Ottawa, so who knows?
He blamed it on you, by the way, Kamar.
Well, of course.
Of course, it was a bus. It was like city planners talking about who's the bus, who's going under the bus.
So
Who's
I
taking
don't
the
like
fall?
that people are even talking about me. It really bothers me.
I said I never wanted to be involved in the first place.
Simon, if it makes you feel better, I'm like Chris Rock when it comes to you. I keep your name out of my fucking mouth.
That's nice.
It's never come up.
That's-
Mary the other day was like, "How was golf?" I said, "I golfed alone."
You just sound like
Wait,
Anthony
hold
Jeselnik.
on a second. Are you doing that for me or
Yeah.
for you?
For you,
Okay,
I'll keep your name out of my fucking mouth.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Work-
But you just called me your acquaintance. I don't know if I like that.
Well,
I see
you're
you as
never
a
super happy to
colleague.
be around me. Like a friend is someone who's like, "Hey,
Yeah, you're a colleague.
Okay, that's ridiculous. I don't.
Like, how
do,
about this? How about this?
I don't do
How about
anything
this?
with anybody.
Have you ever-
We do.
have you
we
ever-
watch fights together. Like
okay, I'm just checking."
we mini putt together. Dude,
Listen, I think we're friends, but I'm concerned about it.
I see us as
that's
coworkers.
so weird. I hope you're joking.
Oh, don't get uncomfortable.
We're
about this?
definitely coworkers.
We're coworkers. That's all.
Yeah.
Totally, totally agreed. Yeah, we all agree to that part.
I don't even think Kamar would say hi to me if he saw me on the street. I think it'd be I think it'd be a nod, tip of the cap,
No
maybe
way.
at the most.
No
Tip
way.
of the cap.
I would go up to you.
Okay.
Unless you gave me eyes, like, don't come over here. Like, I don't want to talk to
I'm
you.
with a bunch of your friends that you haven't seen.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Exactly. Workplace drug testing only came in the 80s.
Reagan. Fucking Ronald
Everything
Reagan.
everything that's wrong came with Reagan.
Yeah.
Just how wild.
Nixon gets this horrible rap. I don't even know what he did wrong. I
Well,
just
he
know
just
that
said a bunch
people
of bigoted
hate-
shit on
that
tape
people
openly.
hate him. But Reagan fucked that country up, man. He turned it into like the same way they say Trudeau's fucking this place up. Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan really was no good.
The whole
Well,
war on
okay,
drugs.
Okay,
like,
what's
all of
interesting
that
though
shit, man.
is Reagan was like a Biden. Like he was checked out for most of his presidency, so you got the same thing as the.
Sure.
What's
So-
so weird?
Not only that, he was like a Trump. He was a famous person who became president.
Drug testing employees is like the most egregious thing in the world to me. Like, what the fuck do you care what I do with my spare time? Do I show up on time? Do I do my job? Well, then if I want to smoke fucking copious amounts of heroin in my spare time, guess fucking what? That's my thing.
I thought they
intrusive.
were testing you while you were high at work. I don't think it was whether you were high at home.
How do they test whether you're high at work? No, they do drug testing. So if you're, I knew so many people in the States that were like, I have to piss clean because I got a new job.
It could be for insurance,
Yeah,
is
that
crazy.
makes sense. Yeah.
It's nuts.
but before that, it didn't exist, and people were just living their lives. It was
Yeah.
That's the era you wanted to be alive. Anyways, you.
Yeah, the 70s. Killing it.
I was thinking about you because you
Pre
used to be-
STDs, just fucking chilling.
There were
Just,
no STDs before the 70s. There were definitely STDs.
well, not the ones like, I don't think you had to
There
really
weren't
worry about
there
herpes or
wasn't
AIDS or anything.
What do you mean herpes? I would imagine the herpes has existed for a long time.
I think it's like
Maybe, yeah.
dinosaurs.
Maybe, yeah.
Like the herpes complex, I imagine has
Well, there's
been
all
around
sorts of
for
different herpes, so
as long
sure.
as humans have been around.
Okay, but I'm
I
sure
don't know.
genitals, I'm sure someone fucked a monkey at some point and got it from there.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. It's a
Listen,
virus.
if
It's a
you
virus.
if you
so-
want my, I don't know how long each STD has been around. I haven't done a deep dive.
I wonder what's the oldest STD.
Chlamydia.
Paul Virzi did not talk about STDs at all.
Sorry,
However,
sorry, Kamar,
he,
keep going.
he did talk about drugs and baseball,
Yeah,
and that was an amazing time.
that was the time where I cared most about baseball. I tuned in
But
every day.
you weren't even gambling that much on baseball because you just started gambling on baseball, correct? Or are you still?
Oh, I hate gambling on baseball. I hate baseball.
you
period.
were just
well
caught
at
up
this
in the-
time.
in
At that
the-
time, Kamar, I was only like that was like 2000. I was like I was like 18.
Yeah, you're
16,
just,
something like that.
caught up in the home run crazy.
Yeah.
Just crack, 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 crack.
Kamar, if I tuned into TSN and they were like the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals didn't play today, I was just like, oh, no need to watch this. Like,
because we're just looking to see
Yeah.
for the home runs to keep adding to it.
I didn't give a fuck. That was all I cared about that summer.
And
Who's
Barry
clocking
Bonds- Barry
dingers?
Bonds as well.
Syphilis 1494.
Wow.
That's the first recorded.
Syphilis.
And
yeah, that
that's
makes
why
sense,
they had
yeah.
the wigs.
The
That's
wigs,
why they had
yes,
the wigs.
yes,
Joe
yes,
and-
yes.
Duncan, we're wearing just
Powdered
2
wigs,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
Joe's got syphilis. Pass it on. No.
You think that's why he was wearing it? Come here, this is your new conspiracy.
Paul asked Joe.
Why he shaves his head.
Paul asked Joe about like if your kid wants to get tattoos
Tattoos
or
and
pierce
stuff.
or whatever. And Joe said, "I do not feel comfortable telling them anything to do once they become adult. Simon, are you wrestling with your sons becoming adult?
I mean, I'm wrestling with it, but not with the tattoos. Like my daughter, I mean, I guess
They can do whatever they want.
My
Yeah,
daughter got tattoos. She has tattoos. Like, who
But
am
you
I
would
to-
never ever get a tattoo because of your dad.
But I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I'm gonna be buried with my wife.
Outside of a Jewish cemetery,
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not
so
gonna
you can
be
tattoo
buried
yourself
with
up
my
anyway.
dad. So that whole thing is a fucking
Here
stupid
comes the
thing.
sleeve.
Moot point.
anyways,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here comes the sleeve.
Get my head tattooed. That would be
There
pretty
you go.
sweet.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Well, I'm gonna be bald soon, so
it's got a couple teardrops too. Let's fucking work
No,
this
no,
out.
I'm gonna get like two. You know what? I'm not gonna tell you. 'cause
Let's each
somebody
get a
will try
little.
and
Let's
steal
each
it.
get a little. Let's each get a little pyramid right there.
Just half a heart, Matt, and then when we put our hands.
Oh my
together,
god!
it
Now
can
we're
make
really
the whole-
friends. Now it's coming
BFFs.
together. Yeah.
Are you feeling, though, any pressure to like tell your son he's an adult now? Or is he still your boy?
I mean, he's definitely getting where he's going. He's one step away.
You're going to kick him out of the house soon?
No, I mean, I'll never kick my son
No,
out. If he
okay,
wants
right
to
on.
live with me forever, that's his prerogative, I guess. But I don't think he will.
Wow, that's the best dad ever.
Kamar, it was a weird question to me because I'm like, Paul, you're sitting across from Joe. He's literally
Paul.
covered.
Oh.
He's covered in tattoos. It'd be a very weird flex for Joe to say to his daughters.
But on the other hand, Paul is a super old-fashioned,
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
my neighborhood
yeah.
type of guy and
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
solicit it
Like,
out.
my son is smoking weed now,
It's legal.
He's 18,
but
isn't
he's
he?
not he's 18.
Oh, it's 19. Yeah,
It's
but
19.
but again, you would have
Who
no
am
problem
I
with him.
to- who am I
No,
to
well,
tell
you're no
my
one,
son anything?
But you can't
know
sit
what I mean?
and joke, crack wise with him and do it.
That's the
still
only
separated?
problem. That's the one barrier is I
He's an
cannot
adult now.
smoke with
He's
him.
an adult now. He,
But in a
Next
year, you can.
year, I can.
Oh my
But let me ask you this
God.
question: like, you took him to the casino,
The law, baby. Yep.
but so you could have gone to a dispensary over there and
No,
bought a
it's
joint.
21 in Quebec.
What is wrong with that
What
place?
is wrong with that
The
place?
girls are hot, man. The
Are
girls
you
are
fucking
hot.
kidding me?
I am not kidding, Matt.
It's 21.
It's the craziest Quebec.
So you can buy booze there at 18.
Hold on a sec. Yeah. When Joe talks about all the terrible things about Canada,
It's Quebec.
it's actually Quebec,
Quebec.
he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's true. That's the problem.
Nuance.
Everywhere else, cowboy. Quebec, they won't let you do shit, man.
It really is an oppressive place.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
is.
any other way to put
Every
it.
rule they have is either backwards or oppressive. Think about it. Even like they are the province that won't let the people wear whatever.
hijabs
If I
or the-
want to wear
yeah.
a yarmulke to work, they would have a problem with it. Not that I would, but just if I did want to, you can't wear your turban.
Religious headgear,
Just
yeah.
everything that can be oppressive. You can't grow weed at your house. You can't have weed in cool shops.
You'd
You
be
can't,
more
like-
comfortable if Joe kept saying Quebec is fucked.
Yeah, say that as much as you want. I've been saying that for years.
Because
Yeah,
it
I
is,
jump on that train right away. I'm on that train.
it is Canada you can't get into unless you're vaccinated. As a whole. But otherwise, Quebec's way crazier.
Listen, that's stupid. I have no, but it's leaving September or something, so it's not like
They're just talking about 7 Kansas City Royals couldn't come play.
Okay, can
again
I just but
stupid.
Can I say this? Like it was the same for the States up to a few months ago. So it's kind of a weird flex to be like 3 months ago we were also you know what I mean? Like I know he was against it in the States too,
As
but
soon as it comes to end, it's all a moot point. But Quebec is fucked. Comedy stories. They talked a lot about comedy. I never thought about it, but they talked about UFC fighters bringing their kids to the fight.
I've always found that very fucked up.
Like, I mean, if you win, it's great, but still a weird thing to show your dad beating up another guy. And if you get knocked the fuck out in front of your kid, that can't be good to see.
I mean, if it's a little baby, that little baby
Yes,
has no
yes,
idea
yes, yes,
what
yes,
the
yes,
fuck
yes.
is going on. They're not watching you fight.
But you don't want a
know
little
what I mean?
baby in a screaming
No,
stadium.
that's why they have to wear those earmuff things.
Again,
I also think we discount what like you can sit there and be like that kid doesn't remember it, but you don't know what's like you know what's weird I was thinking about the other day? Do you remember thinking as a kid?
Thinking? No, not at all. I
Like
didn't
scheming?
start. I didn't
No,
start
I just mean, like-
thinking until high school.
Well, this is what I'm saying is like, you know, you obviously like think about like a 6-year-old kid when they're just sitting there. They have thoughts running through their head the same way you do right now. But like what kind of bullshit is it? And like why can't you remember any of that, right? Because you can remember thoughts you had in high school, right? Probably
Well,
like,
I mean, it
I'm
depends.
thinking
on,
about the girl in grade 6 with huge boobs.
Yeah, I thought about girls a lot. Like
Well,
most
okay,
of
yeah.
my
A lot,
bandwidth
a
was
lot,
taken
a
up
lot.
with girls.
And
Yeah, of course.
skateboarding.
Oh God, still
And
bandwidth and
skateboarding.
skateboarding.
I just
Mark,
thought
you
about
skated?
how cool I would want a pair of Airwalk shoes. Like how badly I wanted them.
You didn't have Airwalks?
I got them, but I got the ugliest pair, and I was always a poser at the skateboarding style. 'Cause I
Well,
just
you weren't a great skateboarder
well,
either,
no,
so that
I
makes
was
sense.
embarrassed about going to someone and asking them, what should I get to get into skateboarding? So I just sort of looked at what people did and got it and sort of exposed myself. But
It's really crazy how
But your,
big.
That's what I thought
your
about.
friends were all skateboarders.
I wasn't friends with them. I became friends there.
Oh, you're talking about really young.
No, like 10, 12.
Yeah, grade 7, grade 6.
I was friends with losers. I wasn't friends with those guys as much. I was friends with James, who was friends with everyone, and then became. But it was a lot. I was quite a loser until probably started doing weed. Have you ever seen there's also audio memes of Theo Von going, my favorite kind of weed was cocaine. It's so good. Anyways, yeah, I didn't get cool till I joined the football team, broke my ankle, and started doing drugs.
Wow, so if you had never broken your ankle, you might be like in the NFL now instead
Maybe a
of
CFL
on
maybe
this
a CFL.
podcast.
I'm pretty small.
It's a pretty big gap there. Just to be completely honest with you.
Listen, man, X Factor, you never know.
Paul, I feel, tries to say all the right things. Like, I just want to be stand up, stand up, and stand up, and stand up. And then he says, but it's important to have short-term and long-term goals. And the short-term is a real better, like, deadline for yourself. Whereas the long-term can be, eventually I want to get here, but you can't get there unless at least you have a step to get to before that.
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
That was his other favorite saying. And he is this guy. His dad is the coolest, bringing him to Eddie Murphy at 10. I think I was probably 11 or 12 when I saw Delirious, but not in the theater.
What
My parents would not
was
have
his
done that.
dad the one who wore the fancy jacket?
Fancy
there?
everything.
Yeah, okay.
Fancy everything.
That's actually something I don't give my dad a ton of credit. That's something that I give my dad a ton of credit for. He didn't give a fuck.
Dressing nice.
No
No,
sharing
when I was
media
growing
and
up,
stuff for
when I
you.
was growing up, there was no like, whoa, we can't.
Censor.
Like even being around his friends, there was no like, oh, we should, it was just I was allowed to hear and see, and I think it helped me. Well, I mean, again, I haven't done shit with my life, so I guess nothing has
And
helped
so
me.
you have this touring thing of he was sort of a deadbeat, like didn't always show up for stuff, but he was cool when he was there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love my dad. I'm not saying he was a deadbeat, even. I
For lack of a better
No,
word,
no, I know
was
what you're
using
saying,
Your
yes.
one example when you show
Yes.
up for something, whatever, absentee.
How about this
super
too?
Cool.
You only, as a kid, you only get the story from each side, right? So my mom was obviously super jaded. I don't know for a fact that he didn't show up, right? Well, no, I'm just saying, like, my mom told me that. I have no reason to not believe her. But now that I'm an adult and I know how relationships work and how emotions work,
And that your parents are human and will resort
Of
to
course,
Yeah,
yes.
but you just have to look at your dad's track record,
Yes, of
and I'm
course.
sure you
Listen,
can fucking
Chan-
probably tell she was
chances are
telling the
some
truth.
of it's true.
listen, like, let me give you an example. I also had a talk with my dad where I was like, a lot of those. So, like, for a while, he didn't have a place. He just lived with my grandmother in an apartment on Metcalf. Like, he slept on the couch, which meant when we went there on the weekends, we slept on couches. Wasn't a great time. And I remember saying to him, like, a lot of those weekends, we just sat in that apartment with our grandmother and you like fucked off because it was like 2 blocks from Elgin. He was a
How
big
old are you?
drinker. I was like 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
And do you remember at the time thinking you was suspect, or only after, like, well, that was kind of weird?
No,
'Cause
you
your
probably
grandmother was
like
cool?
hanging out with your
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah, listen, my grandmother fucking treated me like a goddamn king. So it was great. Like I got,
And you had no awareness. If you heard of that someone in that position now, you'd think of them. Well, you could be doing better than that. You didn't think it was anything wrong. That's what I think when you think about thinking. You didn't think this was.
well, I mean, again, you don't know how anyone else is living their life. I definitely remember being like,
You don't talk to your friends.
well, I definitely
except at
remember
school about school.
Yeah, and I definitely remember thinking like it's fucked that like we don't have a room or a bed. Like,
You do remember that.
yeah. Well, keep in mind, I never ever, up until like I was like 16, had a bed at my dad's. I just slept on the couch.
But you had a bet at your mom's.
I lived at my mom's, of course.
Oh.
No. No,
Like,
he had a blow up mattress in the backyard.
That's
Kamar.
gonna make you notice it more.
I remember like there was like a shitty like half attic at my dad's that he was like, if you want to make that like a room, go ahead. It was like a crawl space basically. Dude, I set up a fucking folding patio chair that I slept on for like a year. The most uncomfortable sleeping ever. Yeah, and that was like, again, it was so weird though because,
Save this story for Rogan. This is your it.
well, let me tell you too, it's weird because like I would spend a week and, you know, or almost 2 weeks at my mom's, like living a normal life, and then just go slum it for 2 days.
2 days.
It's true. You really did have like
A
a
juxtaposition of life. Yeah.
of life there. Fuck. Like,
My dad's third marriage, he married this native chick named Carol Ann, and they lived in the fucking ghetto in the West End, like 2 blocks from Bayshore. I mean, like in the fucking ghetto. That was interesting too, because they fought. Like I remember him getting arrested.
people get shot around there.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts. Like I couldn't get a
Like
starter
all
jacket.
the shootings happen.
Yeah,
around
yeah, yeah.
there.
Was there ever a time when you had a choice? Like you could have chosen to live with your dad instead of your mom?
Well, I like when I was a teenager, my mom like threw me out, and I had to go live with my dad, and it fucking sucked. Because he was he lived way the fuck out in Orleans. I mean, there was one bus that came every 35 minutes.
And you were a little dick at home, and your mom was like, "You got to take a time out." Well, thank God you at least gave your dad. thank God you had your dad to go to.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
even though it wasn't the best.
I'm not certain my mom would have ever thrown me out like on the. Well, she probably would have because I was like a real piece of shit as a teenager.
As we all
That's
are,
really
except
the
for you.
pot calling
Yeah.
the kettle black.
like-
No,
eh?
I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah, like
I can relate.
I mean, going to my dad's though was just like we didn't get along at all.
Fuck.
Like once I was a teenager, my dad and I just fucking. It was only butting heads.
So it was a punishment for him too.
having me there,
Yeah. Or did you have to do shit?
no,
for him?
because I was like a fucking lackey.
That's
like,
what I mean.
it was insane.
He put you to work.
Yeah, first of all, I had to work for his general contracting company in the summer. That was like non-negotiable. And the weirdest part about working for him was he treated me like I was a seasoned French contractor. When in reality, I'm a 14-year-old with zero experience.
And
Like,
he knows you have zero.
yes. Like,
Because he hasn't taught him.
Where would you have been acquiring all this knowledge?
I remember, like-
Rosetta Stone.
I weighed
Rosetta
the contractor's Rosetta Stone. Dude, I remember being like, I weighed like 100 pounds soaking wet. I'm 14 years old. I'm standing up on a 1-story roof truss holding a nail gun that weighs half my weight. And he's like, you keep missing the fucking nails. Like he's yelling at me. And I'm showing him. I'm like, look, I can't hold the thing up. I have to like swing it using momentum because it's so heavy. And dude, he just like, I remember I nearly put a nail in his foot one day and we didn't say a word to each other for the next 7 hours.
So glad everything's worked out. That sounds
You just
horrible.
went up to your little rafter house and lay on your folding lawn chair.
Dude, I remember one day he was reaming me out for like, we were cutting tiles.
It's a callback. Come on. Welcome to comedy, asshole.
Try to listen to him. And
I remember
at the same time.
one day we were cutting tiles for this bathroom and like I just kept fucking, I would cut the tile properly, but I'd bring back the wrong piece. And he was fucking losing it. And like there's other workers all over the place. And I remember going downstairs, like I'm almost in tears. I'm so bummed out because he's reaming me out in front of all these people. And I remember hearing one of the French workers be like, that's good to know Mike treats everyone that way.
Maybe that's why he's doing it. No favoritism on the job.
Dude, I remember one of his employees stole my skateboard. Like I bought a brand new complete and one of his employees showed up to get his check and it wasn't there. And he took my skateboard. And
You're just like, I'm taking this
he
instead.
didn't say it. He just like, he did. I went
Well,
to get,
that's what he was thinking.
oh yeah, that's definitely what he was thinking.
That was the thought process. I remember my dad trying to teach me math and him getting so frustrated that he hit me with the book. Like
Wow.
really hard.
Wow.
Yeah. And just like, I get it. You know,
Where?
when you're trying to
In
teach
the head?
somebody
In the
something.
head?
Yeah. And then I knew math all of a sudden. It was crazy.
Oh, it's
Like
osmosis.
this,
He just
yeah.
slapped it into
It
you.
was one of those things.
That's a good point. I
you
don't
learn
ever
French.
I don't ever in my life remember my dad like sitting down with
Oh,
schoolwork.
my dad used to help me so much, man. Like,
Well, yeah, he's
I
a
was
fucking
such a
doctor.
terrible student. Such a terrible student. And if it was up to me, I would have fucking just fucked off the whole time.
But Kamar,
As a father, if your son had been what you were, you would just
Oh,
let him.
he was.
Oh,
I didn't
like father, like
I
son.
didn't let him. Yeah, but I also didn't do. His mother took my father's place without the hitting, with only coddling.
That's a good team.
I mean, I guess got him through high school.
My stepfather did many a project for me, and it's so weird how they're like stressed out for you, and you're like, I don't care.
The best,
yeah,
the worst was, or the best was when my dad I'd get a bad mark on something he helped me with. And he's like, I am a university professor. Who the fuck do these teachers think they are? I'm like, well, you can't say shit.
That could be hilarious, like TikTok or a real thing. The dad who keeps doing the homework, is getting
just see the marks.
son tossed
Yeah.
out.
Getting C's, straight C's.
Every assignment.
It's just like,
Terrible.
I don't
Show the work.
No,
understand.
let me see this
Yeah,
one.
hold
I
on,
got
hold
it.
on.
Yeah.
It becomes like, it's his pet project. I have to get him an A.
He doesn't watch specials. And I think that's because later on, Joe asked him, do you write? And he's one of those guys, those rare ones. And I felt a disdain for no writing. He said, no, that's just not how I do it. I don't write.
To
I love how
each his
Joe
own.
hates. Yeah, I love how Joe despises other people's process sometimes.
But it's
Like,
so,
it's
it's
such
sort
a
of that
weird
thing
flex.
that if you don't do what I do, is there something wrong with me or something, or this weird energy? But I'm sure because Bill writes, so it's not like he's not a. It's just him.
Yeah, but everyone does. It's
sure.
like baseball. Like everyone has a different stance, a
Joe
different
doesn't.
swing.
Joe doesn't get it because he doesn't golf, Kamar. But golfers understand. You hit the ball a lot of different ways to get it to the same place. You know what I mean? Everybody has a different swing. There's like an old man out there who has the craziest swing you've ever seen, and he fucking breaks par every time he goes out there, you know?
Yeah, it's like I was saying about baseball.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's
It's
just
just
yeah,
golf
yeah,
is
yeah.
a
I got it.
better,
Better extrapolation.
And there's
sure.
no way
Visual, Matt.
There's no way getting an arrow into a bullseye feels as good as getting a ball onto the green on the second shot.
I mean, I imagine it's very much the same thing.
I think golfing way better, and I think golfing could replace the thing that archery does. Is it?
Well, he needs
No, 'cause Joe's
archery
never gonna
'cause
get
he's
meat
hunting.
from
It's
golfing.
different for the feeling.
Thank you.
It's different for the feeling.
That would
of-
be cool if you hunted with hitting golf clubs, like you drove a
Hold
ball
on.
into a deer.
That's the next evolution. Joe becomes so good at archery that he's like, okay, I got to start killing these things with a golf ball. And he's going out with like a Titleist driver.
That's a whole new game, man. You could be like 300 yards away, hit a elk clean off a mountain.
clean off of that.
Well, no,
The Titleist driver.
it's so much more impressive than doing with an arrow.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's-
much
it's
more
Way
impressive.
more
than
impressive.
It's not
I
even
agree.
funny.
Oh, I agree.
It's not.
Cameron Hayes is like, you got to see this guy. He's
It's
off
not
in sheet
very.
with
It's
golf
not very
balls.
accurate for the
Yeah.
kill. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
but even then, I think the elk would walk itself over. Like, nice shot, kill me, cut my throat, like in like a samurai. You know
You're
what I mean?
trying to hit it right in the noggin.
In the
'cause then
temple?
It just knocking
Just
it
lights out?
Yeah. And then you go up and slit its throat.
Oh no, it's Joe. He jujitsu. Like you get him in like a triangle or something.
I was going
Rear
to
naked
say
choke.
if Joe had some sort of injury that would prevent him from doing archery, but that would probably prevent him from golfing. But I just see golf is circling around Joe, and he knows he should.
Golf is circling around Joe.
Oh, it is circling around him. Yeah, no, you are.
Joe is in the
absolutely
eye
right.
of the golf storm.
Joe tried to sell it
Absolutely
hard, but he said the same thing, Tony, when he says, against you, one shot,
Only
the
so
beauty.
much time. If Joe got divorced, he'd definitely start golfing.
No, if Joe got divorced, he'd definitely start fucking.
Slinging that dick like he always has been.
What was I gonna say? Archery, Joe. Oh yeah, if he couldn't do archery, do you think he would switch to rifle hunting?
Yes.
I imagine so, eh? Maybe
Yeah.
he'd do crossbow hunting. That's cool.
I mean, if you're just doing it for meat, he's always said it. If you're just doing it for meat, you should use a rifle. It's the easiest way to kill an animal.
Well, he
Clean a
also
shot.
likes the sport of it, so you'd still get the sport of sneaking up on the animal, all the exercise.
I feel like he feels
a
like
crossbow.
he's so big and popular that there's only, like, if he was just shooting
that the elk just
out
come to
of a
him.
helicopter or something, he'd seem like a worse person. So he what?
He
I love shooting.
He
I'm
comes
surprised
into
I
the
don't know.
forest. He announces on Instagram that he's going to be going into the forest, and the elk just come to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Obama and
Dude, we should start an Instagram called like elk and just start commenting on all Joe's like elk photos. This is disgusting. We'll just post one elk photo a day.
Jimmy.
Exactly. Yes. See, Simon's on board. Sorry, Kamar, keep going.
It's got to be something disruptive though. Like I could kill it better than that. Anyways, Springsteen and Obama had a podcast.
Yeah.
Shit,
Did not last.
of course.
Obviously.
Kanye and Trump podcast.
Called Ramblings of Two Lunatics.
I think it would be amazing, just amazing, because they played a bit of the footage of.
Dude, Trump is not listening to a word that fucking guy is saying. Prove me wrong. That's it. We're done. Okay.
Oh no, there's a lot. There's
a lot?
There's
I'm
really
thining of the name of Kanye and Trump's podcast. It just hasn't come to me yet, but I'm good with names, so I'll get there.
there's not a lot, but
Magye.
I mean, that's one way to go.
Paul's a great guy, and just like he says, like people give me shit for being a nice guy. People shoot me for a family. There's no benefit or like detraction of having a good family.
That felt like almost made up. Like I was like, it's a weird flex to hear someone be like, "Oh, nice fit." Like,
No, I could see it.
really, that exists.
It comes from a comic. It says a woman comic who's probably childless and doing well in comedy, but
Barren
feel
womb.
unfulfilled.
Okay.
But you benefit if you have a family. It's a good thing. Way more people in a family are happier than people who don't have families. I'd say, not that it's a thing you have to do.
Yeah, look at Simon. He's just beaming.
Just glowing. But when they talked about
You know what? I don't like this
We're not friends,
picture
right?
you're painting of me.
What? Well, I paint a perfect picture of you.
No, an inaccurate picture, if you will. You're like a caricature drawer.
Am I?
Apparently so.
when they were talking about Russia, they said Ukraine, Russia is isolated from the rest of the world. Russia actually does have relationships with China, India, Brazil, Venezuela, and Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a misnomer to think they're in contact with more people than we are. As far as
I don't know about it. More people? You just
we're
named
just
less
NATO.
countries that
We're
are in
just
NATO.
There's more population-wise, sorry.
Okay.
Because China and India really
Yeah.
filled
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
So they're not as I think.
India is about to be more populated than China.
He's really concerned about the NBA player. Like he's such an American bleeding heart. He says he roots for every president. He's every, and then he finds out that Joe's more Italian than him because
Yeah,
he's
whoa, you're three. Whoa,
So
you're
what? You're more Italian than me. And he just acts like he thinks a God-loving, father-loving, American-loving Italian should be, and he is it.
Like if Joe's name was Joe Ragoni, it would just be easier for people to.
That's what it is for sure.
You
They
know?
just changed it to
Ragoni.
Ellis
Yeah,
Island.
it probably was.
Yeah.
Roganini.
Sure. Roganelli.
I thought
Rogani.
it's funny when his dad says, "I hate rap, but the jewelry."
Yeah, hey, those. Oh,
I can
he's got some jewelry
I
on
can
point,
admire
huh?
that dip, Polly. Joe's grandmother was in the mob. I never put that together, but if you're running numbers, you're
We're not in the mob. You work for the mob.
You could be in the mob,
you're mob
or you
adjacent.
could be.
No, well,
in
you
the
listen.
mob.
Unless you're fucking finger pricked in, you're not in the fucking mob. You're just mob adjacent, like you said. Like even what's his name, Henry Hill. He wasn't in the mob.
Okay, he was in the mob.
he wasn't a made man.
You're right, he wasn't a made man.
Yeah, if you're not a made man, you're not in the fucking
okay,
mob.
I'm using
Listen,
the term
I'm a quarter
loosely.
Italian, so I'm going to hold this down.
Okay, this is your
Yeah, this is the hill I'll die
area
on.
of
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah. By the way,
Interesting.
was it Tom Segura or Virzi who said they were in a coma for 8 hours?
It was, I believe. That's interesting.
Either
I don't
way,
remember, but
either
whoever
way,
it is,
what
you're
a pussy.
Coma Brothers.
No, what a 8 hours. Get out of here.
What were you in it for,
If
like
2 days,
12
if 2
hours?
days isn't it, then 8 hours ain't
You
it
were
either.
actually 2 days.
Yes, which you've scoffed at.
Yeah,
Before.
I have scoffed.
Yeah.
I'm not denying my scoffing.
Yeah. Clearly not. No scoff denial here.
No.
He shares a really powerful story about him when he went through a really dark time in 2016. I would have met him just.
Oh
when he
wait,
came out of
sorry.
this.
I'm sorry. Just 1 second.
I was gonna say he went into that after he met you.
He said he was in a coma for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, a coma doesn't start until it's
After you're sleeping.
yeah, like
it has to be at
I
least
sleep
12 hours
8 hours,
long.
so it has to be at least 9 hours. You know what I mean? That's crazy talk.
So if they were like, you're
He
in a
was
2 hour
talking
coma.
about his sleep.
I like that. There you go,
thought it
Kamar.
was-
Write that
I
one
thought it
down.
was based on an injury. I could be here.
I thought it was Tom that said it. Maybe we just missed it in Tom.
Either way.
I love corny old man talk. Like if I was
How
doing
about
it
the
better for
weather?
you, I love it.
Corny old man.
I love it.
talk.
I love it. I love it. I love saying sayings and on younger people and going, I've never heard that. Who says that?
Sayings.
I bet
Saying
you.
sayings.
I guarantee Paul Virzi's dad washes his laneway often.
Oh, immaculate lawn or no lawn at all.
One or the other, yeah. Either rock lawn
Yeah.
or immaculate lawn.
I was
yeah.
talking to Matt. Oh, it's
With
immaculate. And
with
he
a
uses
small white
scissors.
picket fence.
No, he uses
scissors,
garden,
yeah.
normal scissors,
Yeah.
paper scissors
To edge
to
it,
cut
yeah.
between the sidewalk and the lawn. Anyways, I was telling Matt yesterday or the day before, but we're not friends. Anyways, just the what's the fucking word of words?
Etymology?
Yeah. You know where words come from, like triangle for a long time, forever. I didn't know it was because it was 3 angles. I mean, maybe I knew it, but I just never put, 3 and 3 together in this case.
Can I give you an example for me?
Yeah,
Deja
please.
vu. It never clicked that it was a French word
For
meaning already seen. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. You
So-
just thought it was a word, deja vu.
I just thought it was an
in
English word
English. What a weird word.
that we
Okay, yeah.
just pronounced shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that-
deja vu. Like,
Okay.
You were the one who talking about why they're 26 letters and why they're in order, right?
well, no, we last
Are
week
there
off.
26 letters?
Yes, there are.
In the English alphabet.
Last week
I thought
off
there were
air.
25 letters.
Last week
26.
off air, we decided that they could be in any order and that it doesn't really matter. That was what we had kind of.
But they're not the only letters.
Well, there are other
letters
languages.
in other languages.
But
yes.
in the Jewish religion, like letters are associated with numbers, and it
Okay.
becomes a whole other thing.
in
you know?
Hebrew,
In Hebrew, yeah.
really interesting.
We will just get through this quick. We could get.
But wait. What would? Whoa, hold on. That got us off something. What were we talking about? It was interesting.
Language etymology.
Oh yeah, where words comes from, and that's why I was trying to tell you. Like we do that with songs too, where we just think it's something, and then it's something else all along. You know.
Well, that's why that game show was great. Do
All along.
you remember that game show where they used to play like a bar of a song and then they would stop and you, the contestant, had to continue on, and it was like
continue, yeah.
usually a difficult part of like it'd be a Nirvana song, and you're like, oh,
People
fuck.
just have to make up what they thought it was.
Jamie Foxx does one called Shazam. They're big shows on like mainstream TV.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Name that tune. You have to actually sing it, so you're screwed.
I mean, yeah. Are you Ellie? You don't know that fucking.
We'll
part
get it.
in
We'll
the
get
song.
it. They're both their 1st
You're
jokes.
killing me.
I can't remember my first joke, but I think I stole it. Joe's first joke was a hot woman pulled over by a cop. The funny story about Don Gavin.
I know what my first joke was.
The beer bottle.
Cans.
Beer bottle.
Well, it's actually the fire engine.
Beer bottle on board. Well, that's the first one that ever got told. Don Gavin walks up to the event and is like, yeah, so we're performing. And she goes, oh, over that picture table. Goes, fantastic. I'm just going to get my props. I just think that's so funny. The Nash are actually like, okay, I'll be back in 5 seconds. The complete lie and ditch. And what the people thought that night, like, show's canceled. Anyways, I guess it's a comedian thing. And the washed up comic trying to, because you see it on, it's a real person. Jim Norton does the character, and they played the cameo
yeah.
he did. Like,
What's his name?
Art Bell or Carney? No, Art Bell is probably
Art
someone.
Bell is
It's
somebody.
something Bell.
Coast
the,
to coast.
The point being, you'll see it like. Does anyone know how to use but it's literal. They're like the Zoom thing, like acting like they're
I
getting into it.
love when people have alter.
They didn't
egos.
mention it, but
I think it's hilarious.
Chip Chipperson's part of the reason Opie and Anthony like split up.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
Chip
Opie
Chipperson, the
hated.
character.
He said something.
Opie hated Chip Chipperson.
Norton, or he hated Chip Chipperson,
Chip Chipperson.
but he liked Norton.
Well,
You
I
can't
mean,
like Norton and hate. That's the
he
same
just
guy,
hated when
right?
Norton did it. He
Yeah.
fucking
He
despised.
hated
He
when
was like,
Norton
"This
did
is
it.
not."
Okay.
And
Well, I
Opie
didn't-
and Anthony loved it, like absolutely, like
Well, he
shit his
probably
pants
loved
laughing.
it because
also because
Opie
it pissed
hated
Opie
it
off.
so
Yeah,
much. Like that was a pretty toxic thing going on.
Then after
there.
giving his story about how he lost his mind, but he was in it all in his head, I think he could have saved himself not telling the story of stalking the kids after Uncut Gems.
I'm so glad he told that story.
because he's got a small man syndrome. Like I'm bigger than him. Like just height, you know what I mean? But whatever, he's a grown man.
What the fuck was he gonna do?
What was he gonna do? But he's like, they gotta know. They gotta know they can't fuck with this guy.
It's
Like,
so
there's this
funny.
dad
I
going through
felt
him.
like doing that before. Just like I want somebody to know so bad that they fucked up that I may go to the ends of the earth to tell them, but I never do it. You know what I mean?
You've never done anything close.
I nearly
No.
killed a 13-year-old at Kettleman's. Like I was an inch away from getting a weapon out of the back. I had to literally stop and be like, Matt.
What was he doing to you?
So I went to leave, and there's like a million kids in the fucking thing.
Okay.
So I go to leave, and there's like 7 kids standing in front of the car, and I just sit there waiting. And all of them but one move, and I see this girl grab the last kid that's standing there who's on his phone. And she's like, "Yo, move! There's a car there." And he does the like, kind of looks over his shoulder, and then just keeps standing there. So I sat there for like 15 seconds, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill this kid. So then finally I just wail on the horn like nonstop until finally he moves, and then he punches the car.
Oh.
So then I put it in park, and I get out, and I walk up to him and his 10 friends, and I'm like, "What are we gonna do here?" And he was obviously like a deer in headlights, because I don't think he thought I was actually gonna get out. And I said to him, I was like, "None of your friends are gonna help you here." And you could tell they were all like, "Yeah, dude, you're kind of on your own." And I had to literally sit there and say to myself, like, you're not about to assault. First of all,
You can't fight a 13-year-old.
well, I was like, first of all, you're on Bank Street. Like, even if you thought this was going to go any way you think, like, I was like, just get back in the car, be angry, and go home. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
But honestly, for a second, for the next 2 days, I was playing through all, I was like, should have just fucking,
no, there's nothing.
No,
all those
that's
kids
it.
have phones. Like, there's
they're-
nothing you can do anymore.
and they're all in the glebe. Their parents are all lawyers
you
or
should
government
have
employees.
a water gun, and
Yeah,
you
but
just super soak
that's
people
what's
who
supposed
bug
to
you.
happen. And Paul should have confronted these kids in the lobby of the theater and said,
Yeah.
show me to apologize. What he did is crazy.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
He didn't have to tell anyone, but your story is what you're supposed to do.
I'm just saying, I felt when Paul said it, I was like, good. It's nice to just hear someone else say, like, I had the same feeling you had, and I maybe took it one step further, but
half an hour and a quarter taking gas further.
Yeah, he went quite a bit further.
I'm
It's a
just
lot.
saying,
He goes around and asks the Taco Bell boy, "Are they talking to me?" They're fucking
Like,
that part was a
if
bit
you had
unhinged.
like camped out on this kid's lawn for a week or something, then you're getting close to Virzi
in the same
territory.
place. Yeah, man. That's why I feel like, oh my goodness. I once was parking my scooter at Simon's house, and these 3 kids were there, and they're like, "Cool scooter, man. Can I try it?" I was like, "Yeah, you can try it." And he gets on it, and says, "If you do anything with it, I'm gonna beat the shit out of your 2 friends." And they're all like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Ah!"
he does a quick circle
Yeah,
and
he
comes
does a
right
quick
back. Yeah,
circle,
good,
back.
good.
Thank you, Mister. Have a nice night.
Oh my god.
And
Well,
clearly,
I was watching a guy the other day, and he was like getting so angry at this woman who didn't turn fast enough at a light. And I was like, what kind of asshole? That's me. You know, that's everybody when they get in their car. I'm just saying.
he's a Mark Norman now.
Comedy. Comedy.
Paul says how he's not a psychedelic guy, and for obvious reasons, like he's in his head. But then Joe like goes into how he loves being paranoid and stuff, and I found Paul very uncomfortable. Let's end this podcast. So I don't think it ended on the strongest note, but
Well, and then he told the story about being so depressed. That was sad, man.
Well, we spoke about that.
Oh,
yeah.
we did? When did we talk about
this
that?
was after that. He told that story. Turned out cardio, getting outside in the sun.
Turned out
That's
cardio,
all it
yeah.
was. Inflammation. Yeah, rate it.
I give it a 4. I like Paul. It's nice seeing him on. It's nice him getting his dues. It's a new guest. We always like that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate.
And he was very
you-
open. He was,
You going out
know.
of your way and giving him such a high number.
He bought
What do
me,
you give it?
He bought me the best meatball sandwich I've ever had in my life. I wish you guys could see where he lives, though, for like the way he talks as just the most picturesque white picket fence
Where's he
American
live?
town. What do you say? Winchester? Is it Winchester?
Westchester,
Westchester. Thank you.
Pennsylvania.
No, New York. And you can see the
yeah, there's a
Tappan
few
Zee Bridge.
Westchesters, okay.
It's just beautiful where he is.
can
I give
see
it.
the
I give it.
Tappan
I give
Zee
it. I give it a
Bridge.
4.
Yeah, there. He gave it a 4 too, dickhead.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a. Fuck it, I'll give it a 4.
Oh my God, we have an agreement.
But it wasn't.
Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. Either way, I think that's a record for agreements in a fucking
Yeah,
episode.
it's a lot of agreements. I mean, it wasn't, there wasn't enough new, there was no new info. He was good. It was great. I feel, because he's Kamar's buddy, I'm going with the agreement.
I would recommend listening to my buddy's podcast, the One Man Podcast. He does it in depth with him. I sat while he did it with them, and he goes through this
Humble
whole,
brag.
like, all the way up to
Humble brag, yeah.
me even meeting Bill Burr and the come up and stuff.
Now I'm just picturing them doing a podcast and Kamar sitting eating a meatball sandwich with fucking marinara all over
And
his
this
shirt.
guy's just like, when is this kid leaving? Like, I'm trying to do a podcast. He's been sitting around me all day.
No, he was dying to break up the sticks and the whiskey.
nice.
He's a
Sticks
really, really
again.
cool, nice guy, man.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. I like hearing that people that have gotten theirs are good people.
He is that guy.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's a show. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Maybe you're willing to go one step further. There's a Patreon if you want to support the show. It's patreon.com/JREE podcast. You can support for as little as $5 a month. You'll get the post show. It's the show after the show where we shoot the shit and talk some non-Joe stuff. You'll also get an episode of This Won't Age Well every month. It's the show where we go back, listen to old episodes, sometimes twice, and do what we do in the normal show. That's it. There's a bunch of socials and stuff. They'll be in the description. I'm not going to bother you with it. I don't give a shit. Don't comment.
Like and subscribe.
You can do that, but don't fucking comment. I don't give a shit. I'm not reading them,
I read
and
it.
I'm not responding. That's a show. We thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you stick around for the post show. We hope you have a great week. Enjoy your weekend, and as usual,
Keep your eyes open.